Jumping out the water meter means installing a bypass pipe around the water meter itself. The purpose of this bypass is generally to avoid being charged for water that is used for things other than drinking or cooking, for example, irrigation systems, filling swimming pools, or other non-potable applications. Inline water filters are used to remove sediment, chlorine, and other impurities from the water supply and improve the taste and odor of the water. Inline water filters are installed after the water meter on the downstream side of the meter. Therefore, the water that passes through the filter has already been measured by the water meter, and the user has already been charged for that water. As such, the presence of an inline filter does not negate the benefit of having a water meter bypass for non-potable water uses. However, there are still other considerations when using inline filters. Firstly, flow restriction. Inline filters, especially those with finer filtration ratings, can restrict the flow of water. This means that the water pressure in the house may be reduced and the flow rate of water from faucets and showerheads may be lower. This can be a problem if the water pressure is already low, or if the household has high water demands, such as during peak hours or when multiple appliances are in use simultaneously. Secondly, filter maintenance. Inline filters require regular maintenance to ensure that they are functioning properly. This maintenance typically involves replacing the filter cartridge on a regular basis, such as every 3 to 6 months, depending on the quality of the water and the amount of water that is used. If the filter cartridge is not replaced on a regular basis, it can become clogged, which can further restrict the flow of water and reduce the effectiveness of the filter. Thirdly, proper sizing. It is important to choose the right size inline filter for the water usage needs of the household. If the filter is too small, it will not be able to handle the water demands, and the water pressure will be reduced. If the filter is too large, it may be more expensive to purchase and maintain. Fourthly, material compatibility. When installing an inline filter, it is important to ensure that the filter housing and other components are compatible with the water chemistry. For example, if the water is acidic, it can corrode certain types of metal filter housings. It is also important to ensure that the filter is certified to meet applicable safety standards such as National Sanitation Foundation or NSF standards. Fifthly, professional installation. While it is possible to install an inline filter as a do-it-yourself project, it is generally recommended to hire a qualified plumber to install the filter. This is especially important if the plumbing system is old or complex, or if there are any concerns about water pressure or flow rates. A qualified plumber will be able to properly size the filter, install it correctly, and ensure that it is functioning properly. Jumping out the water meter is sometimes also called bypassing the water meter. The process involves installing a separate pipe that allows water to flow around the meter and is typically used to supply water for irrigation, filling pools, or other non-potable purposes. The rationale behind jumping out the water meter is to avoid paying for water that is not being used for potable purposes. This can save money on water bills, especially for households with large properties or extensive landscaping. However, it is important to note that jumping out the water meter is not always legal or permitted. Some water utilities have regulations that prohibit or restrict the practice of jumping out the water meter. It is important to check with the local water utility to determine whether it is legal and permitted to jump out the water meter in a specific location. Firstly, regulatory compliance. Before jumping out the water meter, it is essential to check with the local water utility to determine whether the practice is legal and permitted. Some water utilities have regulations that prohibit or restrict the practice of jumping out the water meter. Secondly, proper installation. If it is legal and permitted to jump out the water meter, it is important to ensure that the bypass pipe is installed properly. The bypass pipe should be made of durable, non-corrosive materials, and it should be properly connected to the water supply lines. It is also important to install a backflow preventer on the bypass pipe to prevent water from flowing back into the public water supply. Thirdly, accurate metering. When jumping out the water meter, it is important to install a separate meter on the bypass pipe to measure the amount of water that is being used for non-potable purposes. This will allow the water utility to accurately bill the customer for the water that is being used. Fourthly, cross-connection control. When dumping at the water meter, it is important to take steps to prevent cross-connections between the potable and non-potable water systems. A cross-connection is a connection between a potable water system and a non-potable water system. Cross-connections can allow contaminants to enter the potable water system, which can pose a health risk. Fifthly, professional assistance. While it is possible to jump out the water meter as a do-it-yourself project, it is generally recommended to hire a qualified plumber to install the bypass pipe and associated equipment. This is especially important if the plumbing system is old or complex, or if there are any concerns about water pressure or flow rates. A qualified plumber will be able to properly size the bypass pipe, install it correctly, and ensure that it is functioning properly. Regarding the plastic inline filter, some types of plastic may not be suitable for contact with drinking water. Ensure that the plastic material is certified as safe for potable water use, meeting standards like NSF 61. A filter's flow rate determines how much water can pass through it per unit of time, typically gallons per minute, or GPM. This is essential for maintaining adequate water pressure, especially when multiple fixtures are used simultaneously. Pressure drop is the reduction in water pressure as water passes through the filter. A high pressure drop can significantly reduce water flow at faucets and showers. Understanding the filter's micron rating is important. This indicates the size of particles the filter can remove. Lower micron ratings mean finer filtration, but also potentially lower flow rates. Common filter types include sediment filters, carbon filters, and specialized filters for specific contaminants. Sediment filters remove particulate matter like sand and rust. Carbon filters reduce chlorine, taste, and odor. Consider the filter's capacity, or how much water it can effectively filter before needing replacement. This depends on the water quality and usage patterns. Regular maintenance, including timely filter replacement, is crucial for optimal performance and water quality. Neglecting maintenance can lead to reduced flow rates, pressure drop, and ineffective filtration. A pressure regulator can help maintain consistent water pressure throughout the system, compensating for pressure drops caused by the filter or fluctuations in the main water supply. Always consult with a qualified plumber or water treatment specialist to assess your specific needs and recommend the most suitable filter system. They can also ensure proper installation and compliance with local plumbing codes. Consider the overall cost of the filter system, including the initial purchase price and the ongoing cost of replacement filters. Some systems may have higher upfront costs but lower long-term maintenance expenses, or vice versa. In some areas, rebates or incentives may be available for installing water-efficient or water-saving devices, including water filters. Check with your local water utility or government agencies for available programs. Before installing a filter, consider having your water tested to identify specific contaminants and determine the appropriate filtration method. This can help you choose the most effective filter for your needs. Keep detailed records of filter installations, maintenance, and replacement dates. This will help you track the performance of the system and ensure timely maintenance. Be aware of any potential environmental impacts associated with filter disposal. Some filter cartridges may be recyclable or require special disposal methods. Check with the manufacturer or local waste management authorities for guidance. Consider installing a pre-filter to remove larger particles before they reach the main filter. This can extend the life of the main filter and improve its overall performance. When selecting a filter, look for certifications from reputable organizations like NSF International or the Water Quality Association. These certifications indicate that the filter has been tested and meets industry standards for performance and safety. Be aware that some filters may add small amounts of beneficial minerals to the water, while others may remove minerals. Choose a filter that meets your specific needs and preferences. If you have any concerns about the quality or safety of your water, consult with a qualified water treatment professional. They can provide expert advice and recommend appropriate solutions. In conclusion, while inline water filters don't negate the purpose of bypassing a water meter for non-potable water, careful consideration of flow rates, pressure drop, maintenance, and water chemistry is essential for optimal performance and water quality.